Ladies and gentlemen, let's bring out our next bout of the evening. Out of the blue corner, Derek Scott.
Making his way to the cage tonight is one of our most athletic on the card in Derek Scott. Derek Scott, I find incredibly interesting, is an attorney. He is one of those type of fighters who he looks to do anything. He's a stay calm fighter. His brother, Sean Scott, former title holder, now a professional in the world of Shamrock FC. Derek Scott riding a 3-0 perfect record in this contest. Again, he's an attorney, ladies and gentlemen, who decided to take up fighting because he loves the competition factor of this sport.
Jeremy, this is interesting because this is one of these fights that everybody was so excited about the main events with Kyle Kurtz and Adam Sella, UFC versus Bellator vets.
Let's bring out his opponent tonight. Out of the red corner, Patrick Sparks.
Making his way to the cage tonight is Patrick Sparks. He comes from a wrestling dynasty here in the Midwest. His father, Tom Sparks, started the Granite City and Triad wrestling programs, which are known literally throughout the country for their skills. As we get ready here for our tale of the tape, Derek Scott, 28 years old, 5'9", 154 pounds, out of St. Louis, Missouri. Patrick Sparks, 35 years old, 5'10", 154 pounds, out of Troy, Illinois. Again, Patrick Sparks is one of the preeminent wrestlers in Shamrock FC at the moment. His entire family, his 3 kids are wrestlers. They are all working for that big. He comes to us by way of the War Room here, sporting a 5-3 record. He is coming off a big submission win. Again, his wrestling prowess is literally second to none. Jeremy Johnson, along with Shamrock FC President Jesse Finney. We have the call for you all night long. My partner, Kevin Engel, will be joining us in just a bit.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is brought to you by Page Law. Tonight, fighting out of the blue corner this evening, he stands 5 feet 9 inches tall. He weighs in at 154.6 pounds. Fighting out of St. Louis, Missouri, Derek Scott. His opponent tonight, fighting from across the cage out of the red corner this evening. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall. He weighs in at 154 pounds. Fighting out of Troy, Illinois, Patrick Sparks.
Referee Mike England has the call for this fight.
What I was saying earlier, Jeremy, is this card has been so overlooked. This fight has been overlooked because of the big fight on the main event and the tournament. I think this has got Fight of the Night written all over it.
Definitely. Patrick Sparks comes from an absolute wrestling lineage, but Derek Scott is incredibly athletic. Oh, big takedowns there by both fighters, are just absolutely going after each other. Lots of pressure here coming in the corner by way of Patrick Sparks. He is going to grind on Derek Scott here in the corner.
Sparks is an incredible wrestler, and he is just a heavy, heavy grinder. But Scott is so strong. In the clinch like this totally goes to Sparks, just trying to grind him with wrestling moves, trying to whizzer hard.
Scott doing a great job here, though, of taking the back of Sparks. Derek Scott is incredibly athletic.
I look at these two guys, and I think to myself, these guys are both 145ers. I mean, that's amazing. Nice scramble right there by Patrick Sparks. But you look how smooth and cool that Scott is right here as well.
Doing a good job looking over to his corner for some advice here as Patrick Sparks ties up those legs, which is a great move.
Very smart. What he needs to do, Jeremy, is have those legs, climb up top, and work some simple ground and pound. And he's going to have to tire out Scott a little bit and grind on. This is what he needs to make a grinding fight right here. I wouldn't be doing that, though.
Not the time yet to try that guillotine choke here as Scott comes up, starts pounding heavily here on Patrick Sparks.
Patrick Sparks has got to get back to full guard.
Scott doing a good job here of maintaining that top position now. This is not where Patrick Sparks wanted to be at 1 minute left here in the round.
Right, and this is one of those fights that we had talked about before is where in the first fight of the night, you had the two wrestlers with poison and on his back. He's not used to that. And now you've got a guy like Patrick Sparks. This isn't what he wants to be.
Scott beginning to really land some ground and pound.
Scott really looks good. Patrick Sparks needs to stay calm, stay cool. He's got to scramble out here.
Patrick Sparks needs to do something. Referee Mike England is right on top of this action. This may get stopped if he doesn't do something here with under 30 seconds remaining here in round one. This is some huge ground and pound here coming from Derek Scott. 10 seconds remaining here in the round. Will Patrick Sparks survive?
I don't see referee Mike England stopping this with 3 seconds left.
The end of the round here. That was a very tough round for Patrick Sparks.
Absolutely, and it was a very good round for Derek Scott. I mean, if you look over here, Patrick's breathing, but Derek's hardly breathing at all. But you know, this is good for Patrick Sparks though, just to see where he is at on his level. These are fights that he needs to get to the next level. And but Derek Scott has got his brother Sean Scott, newly signed Shamrock FC fighter, in the corner, instructing him. I'm sure he's going to tell him the exact same thing, is try to grind Patrick Sparks out right here.
As we look here at our instant replay, Derek Scott landing some big ground and pound here. Literally, Patrick Sparks had absolutely nowhere to go. He seemed like a fish out of water at that point in time.
If I'm Patrick Sparks, if I'm in his corner right now, I am going to tell him, take him down and grind on him. Make him as tired as you are at this point. Make it a snoozer. It's not what the promoter wants here, I can tell you that. But I would say, listen, you got to grind it out in wrestling.
The problem is that Derek Scott is so athletic, it may be hard to wear him down.
Athletic is one thing, wrestling's another.
Oh, big shot again with the takedown from Derek Scott.
This is definitely not where Patrick Sparks wants to be. That's where Patrick Sparks wants to be.
Lots of pressure here coming from Patrick Sparks. He needs to hold that head position and try to fight. Big knee.
Good knee.
Both fighters are giving it absolutely all that they've got.
This is how I thought this fight was going to play out, Jeremy. And this is one of those fights that no one was looking at. It was a sleeper on the undercard. And these guys are very well matched. They're both physically fit, and they're both got athletic talent. You know, that's what you're going to get.
Oh! Quick shot to the groin there.
This is probably a very good move for Patrick Sparks. He needs to be breathing very, very heavily at this point and just kind of catch his breath as much as he can and utilize his wrestling to the best degree. I'm sure that Mr. Scott here is probably a little winded at that point. A physical specimen like him, that's the only way you can probably take the wind out of him.
Straight through to there, as we saw on the instant replay. Derek Scott will get 5 minutes in a neutral corner here to try to recover. And we are back at it already.
That's smart on Scott's part, though, is take his least amount of time.
Oh, big shot from Patrick Sparks.
Needs to rip this single right here, not hang out. A lot of these guys make these mistakes where they try to hang on to a single on the cage. If you're going to hit a single on the cage, you got to rip it, or you got to rip it right into a double.
The sheer strength there of Derek Scott was able to make that maneuver.
But I look at this fight right here. I think that Scott obviously won the first round. And I look at the second round, and right now at this point, you got to be going with Patrick Sparks.
Definitely. Sparks is, oh, nice shot to the solar
Good
plexus.
knee. Good knee.
Again. Scott answers right back.
Needs to turn the corner. You can't hang on that single right there. Scott hitting it. That's good move.
Scott is absolutely pounding it
A
out
lot
here.
of these guys try to say that's a wrestling match. This is a fight. Referee Mike England's going to stop this fight as he does not move.
He is right on top of the action. The referee, Sparks, is trying to pull that single leg in, but it's not moving anywhere, and he is taking a lot of unanswered punishment.
He needs to step over his left leg and turn the corner, Jerem. There you go. Needs to get his head on the other side.
Absolutely starting to land huge shots with 30 seconds left here in round 2. Sparks has got to move. Referee Mike England has no choice but to stop that fight. Jesse, that is an athletic kid right there.
That is a super athletic kid. It's one of these, that's a big step up for him and Patrick Sparks. That's a big win for Scott. That is one of, the Scott family is all so athletic. I don't know if, I think that's I don't know if I'd have stopped that fight with 15 seconds left in the round. If it's going to go ahead and go on a limb and say that. But at the same time, I would say I don't disagree with it either.
As we see here in our instant replay, Derek Scott just is landing absolutely complete unanswered shots. Patrick Sparks isn't really doing anything, but
also if you look, I'm not going to sit here and argue about it, but if you also look at Mr. Scott's face, he's looking at the referee. I hope that didn't play into it. I don't think Mike England's been around a very long time. He's one of the best referees around. But once again, these guys are not making a lot of money. Okay, and I think that Mike Reed probably made the right call there.
So let's send it up to the cage to Stephen Bear for our results.
Ladies and gentlemen, this bout has ended 2 minutes and 39 seconds of round number 2. Your winner by TKO out of the blue corner, Derek Scott.